Hey everybody, this is your boy Jim Austin. I just want to let you know I do own a mask. But me and Doug just got tested for COVID, so we're safe. My production is safe, so I'm going to take it off right now.
But I want to let you know I do own one. So, how's everybody doing today? This is your boy Jim Austin coming to you from the Stockyards Podcast Recording Studios. This is my own personal podcast where we let you know what's going on in North Texas. We let you know what's going on in commercial real estate. But I also talk to people that are interesting to me, that got something to say. And most people do. But today we have a very, very important person from our community that's doing some great things. And his second career, he should be a comedian. But I want to welcome to my studio today, Doug Renfro. How you doing, Mr. Renfro?
Good. Thanks for letting me come play with you.
Well, you know, that's what we do up here in the historic Stockyards. We're just playing, enjoying life, and talking and celebrating life. And, you know, we got so much going on in Washington, D.C. and Atlanta, and just crazy watching the news. And I called home yesterday at midday, and my wife was just up in a tear. I said, cut that stuff off. We do that together at night when I get home. It will catch up. So, but I'm so glad to have you here. We've known each other from around the community, and I've been eating your product for a long time, Miss Renfro's. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. And I want to thank you for your support of the National Multicultural Western Heritage Museum. So let's get started, man. Where did you grow up? You know, where'd you go to school? How many kids you got, brothers and sisters? And then we'll move into that, you know?
Sure. I grew up in Haltom City, and actually all 7 third-generation Renfros went to Haltom High School.
Okay.
And my dad moved in there in '67. I think he said they built Loop 820, and it would be him and 2 other cars in the morning going out to 35.
Right.
It's a little different now.
Yes.
And, but you know, our company, it's headquartered where it's been since 1952 or so. They worked out of the house. My granddad and my grandmother's 1940 to 52 worked out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Bought a little building on a multi-use block around the Rosedale, Victory, that area. And
Sure.
we've added on about every 10 years for about 60 years or so. I have 3 kids, 1 in LA, 1 in Oklahoma City, and 1 in Springfield, Missouri.
Okay.
So they were all here at Christmas, which makes it very special. And of course, one of them self-sufficient. That's good.
Yeah, I got 5 of them. All of them are self-sufficient.
You
I'm
did
just
it right.
like, you know, praise the Lord. They all got their college degree, and they're doing them. And I'm excited. But we got to get together our 2 kids. I got a boy out in L.A.
Cool.
You know, so
Yeah, it's a crazy time. I think he's not eaten in a restaurant since March out there, but
Mm-hmm.
in video editing and doing what he loves. One's trying to get into medical school, and one is working in social media virtual productions for theater, which is exciting right now.
Sure. Well, we'll do that. We'll hook them up and let them meet, because he has a gym out there, Redondo Beach, and doing some amazing things. He played volleyball at the University of California, Irvine, went over to Europe professionally, and now he's written 2 books, so I think they should hook up.
Redondo Beach is a beautiful area. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a beach volleyball, so he likes that kind of stuff. But tell us about Miss Renfro. I mean, you've been in the neighborhood a long time, and I know when I go to Menards or Kroger or Albertsons, it's right there, and it's some good stuff.
Well, I like the way you think. Yeah, it's been an evolutionary journey. My grandparents started selling grocery supplies to grocery stores and distributing, and then they started making syrup, and then went into a Southern relish. So when Becky and James, my cousins, run the company with me now, and when we were kids, this Southern relish called Chow Chow was 100% of our sales, and now it's about 1/3 of 1%. You have to keep moving or else you just get run over. But
Mhm.
thank God we got into taco sauce in the 70s with my dad and my uncle. And I went corporate for about 7 or 8 years after college, get good experience, wear a coat and tie, good money, good training, just suck the soul right out of your body though. So refreshing to come back about 27 years ago to the family business. And we had mild, medium, and hot picante sauce
Mm.
and a green taco sauce. And now we've got craft beer salsa, tequila, pineapple, all these different iterations. And then half of what we do is make things for other companies. So it's very cool after all this time to be able to tell you we're number 8 out of over 600 brands tracked in the nation. And we also make some of the other brands for people. But it's been quite a ride. You learn a lot of stuff the hard way. Make a lot of bad product before you realize, okay, that tastes bad, don't do that again, that was
Yeah.
horrible. And then you end up with this really good stuff, and fortunately it's affordable, it's delicious, it's good for you, so it's a very nice space to be in.
Well, I know you're based right here in Fort Worth, Texas.
It took me about 9 minutes to get here.
Okay, yeah. This is Fort Worth, Texas, where the West begins, and we're up here in the historic stockyards, 1 block south of Joe T. Garcia. And you talked a little bit about that relationship with Joe T. because they started in that little house and they just grew.
I think there was just a few tables in the front room, and they have a beautiful picture in their lobby from the 30s.
Yeah.
And now they're city block, over 1,000 people when we return to pre-pandemic levels on a busy night, nationally famous. It's amazing. And they want to sell their product in glass jars in the grocery store, and that's not what they do. So they've been kind enough to tell everybody we do that for them. And so at the restaurant, you're getting fresh salsa, which is what restaurants do, but fresh salsa you can't put on the grocery store shelf and leave it for 6 months. So we do that for a lot of different organizations where if they need us to do what we do, you want it in a jar, it's 2-year shelf life and marketable at all the retailers, we can do that. And then when you go to the restaurant, you get the really fresh product that lasts about 2 hours.
Okay.
So don't be taking that and putting it on your pantry for 6 months.
Right. Joe T is where I learned to eat Mexican food. It wasn't working with me, and a friend took me there, and now I'm a big Mexican food eater.
So when I was a kid, it was the communal tables. You got the dinner, you got 1 or 2 dinners, and you sat with whoever happened to be next to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the little house. So that's where I was at, and I've been here in Fort Worth 44 years, and
Wow.
hung my shingle. I do commercial real estate. I don't just run the museum. So if you want to buy something, you want to sell something, you want to lease something, call Jim Austin, the fresh prince of commercial real estate. So I got my wife said, Jim, I don't want to be out picking up cans in the parking lot so we can live, but my passion is my museum, but my love is commercial real estate. I want to invite you to my party next year. I'm going to be turning 70 years old in May.
You serious?
Yeah.
I can only hope to look half that good.
And I'm doing my 40-year celebration of doing commercial real estate. So we're going to have a big party. I'm going to invite 400 of my closest friends.
And me?
And you, 401. Okay, yeah. So we'll do that. Where'd you go to college?
I got my bachelor's at UNT. I actually lived at home, drove to Denton, drove 50 miles back to the plant, mixed all the spices till at night, and went home. And that's why I left and went to a big company when I got out, worked for Ross Perot's company, EDS. And I got my master's at SMU, at a city we don't name.
Yes,
Here.
yeah, we don't talk about that.
I call it I heard that. I call it Far East Fort Worth.
Far East, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
but my dad and my uncle went to TCU, graduated in the 50s, and
Okay.
actually had their 50th reunion a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of purple in our company, as you can see. And I speak to the business school 2 or 3 times a year, and I'm on their entrepreneurial board, and it's a great organization.
I'm on the Neely School of Business Advisory Board, but I think they got a lot of boards over there.
That every board brings in more money.
Right, yeah, because TCU.
Would you like to be on our board? It's only $10,000 a year.
Oh, okay.
But you pay us.
Okay, right. You got to be careful about that. Dr. Puccini, very good friend, and he came over and toured the museum. He said, Jim, I didn't know 30 to 40% of the cowboys were people of color.
People have no idea.
No idea. So, Doug, we just did a quick tour of the museum, and that's exciting. I want to tell anybody that, you know, we've been closed since March of 2020. We'll be opening sometime this year, but if you ever want to come and see the museum, I keep the key in my pocket. If you come over and you do a tour of the museum, you get a jar of Mrs. Renfro sauce.
Strongly recommend it.
Yeah, so that's a bonus to coming over, you know, because once me and Doug know, because we're marketeers, see, once you get a jar and you taste it, then you're buying it for life.
You're hooked.
You're hooked, you know, so come over and get some of this crack.
And your museum, by the way, is full of amazing treasures. What you have put together here is truly remarkable.
We're celebrating this year 20 years of being around, and
Wow.
I didn't know that 30 to 40% of the cowboys were people of color. And I grew up in New Jersey, and I was one of 4 guys out of 600 seniors, and it was very difficult. My high school was all Caucasians, Italian, and such, so it's difficult, you know, studying history and the giggles of talking about slavery. I mean, yes, it happened, but imagine our kids learning about the fact that they were leaders, they were lawmen, you know, Bass Reeves, Buffalo Soldiers. So yeah, so we're doing virtual a tour we're putting together, but encourage you to go to cowboysofcolor.org. What's your website, Big Timer?
RenfroFoods.com or MrsRenfros.com. It'll take you to the same place. We got to capture you, you know. Short, bald man, friend of JimAustin.com. So we got several angles.
While Doug was here, we toured Jim Austin's Wall of Fame out there, and it really is amazing when you see it. I mean, we got 4 presidents up on the wall, and you know, Jamie Foxx, and on and on and on.
The walls of fame. You had more than one.
Yes, sir. So come up and visit us. The coffee's always hot. We're at 2029 North Main on the corner of 21st and Main, 1 block just south of Joe T. Garcia. And love to come by and meet my staff. You know, you met my staff earlier. And
Feel free to bring us a praline.
Yeah.
Joe T's.
Mm-hmm.
Margarita.
Oh, yeah. I mean, those margaritas.
Meal.
Yeah. Tighten you up. You know. 1 margarita, you know.
That's
So
2021. What could go wrong?
Right. So we're having, are they open?
They open it for lunch and dinner.
Okay, yeah.
Cash only.
That I was going to say that.
Go with a friend.
Yeah, don't go up in Joe T with your credit card, you know, because you're going to have to be back there washing dishes. Cash and carry.
They'll take a check, but nobody has checks anymore, so you will be washing dishes.
Right. So if you want to tell my audience something inspiring, because, you know, we know you work hard and you're in the community, any advice for, you know, my audience, young or old?
I mean, my advice is always about tenacity and persistence, because we've seen so many slow journeys that ultimately pay off, but most people lose out because they quit, they give up. And I speak twice a year to a room full of people who are thinking about getting in the food business, or they're barely in and they want to go further, and I tell them being brilliant is not as useful as being stubborn. You can't be a moron, but what really is important is tenacity. Just keep going every day. You'll see people fall by the wayside over time, and then, you know, the steady path is always better than the sprint. You know, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's one of my favorite, you know, pieces of advice to give people. And I spent 7 years with my salesman going up to the East Coast, having a distributor. Twice a year we'd go up there, and this distributor would laugh at us. There's no way we're putting you on the shelf. They kind of roll their eyes and smirk, and we just smile and did our little Texas drawl, and, you know, kept begging. And today it's a 6-figure customer. We're dominant in their market, and I do know where the people worked who said, know. One of the happiest moments I had is somebody sent me one of their resumes and I shredded it.
Yeah,
I didn't tell them because that'd be rude.
right.
You know, I lit a candle, had a little moment of silence.
And I know you're a funny guy, you know,
My wife
because
doesn't think
oh, she doesn't.
So just shut up and put out the trash.
You know, laughter is so important to life. My dad laughed all the time, and used to get under my mom's skin, you know. But he laughed. He lived to be 92, you know. And laughter is
I think it's critical.
kind of a critical. It's a secret to long life, and you know, just being happy. And he would drink a lot of water. He would drink green tea, a banana. He would put vinegar, apple vinegar, and exercise. And that was his deal. And he really inspired me. Mom, dad, and sister. So that's so good.
We're fortunate to still have my dad and Becky and James's dad with us. And 2 years ago, my dad and I went to Alaska, and we were hiking in crampon shoes on a 2,000-foot thick piece of ice. When I told the guide, oh, by the way, he's 81 and recovered from a broken neck, she almost passed out. But you know, it's about the attitude, and you know, feeling young at heart, I think is critical. And I read the Blue Zones book before it became all the rage, and the thing I took away from it is there are no cranky 100-year-olds.
Okay.
You know, the commonality, they couldn't find a lot of commonalities. This group of people doesn't drink, and this group of people drinks wine every day. These communities of people living to be over 100. But the commonality was there's no cranky, you know, crotchety ones. They're all cheerful and upbeat and optimistic.
Okay. Yeah, that makes point. You know.
I'll bookmark you to get to at least 98 or so.
Yeah. Well, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
We got a $20 bet back here to my left.
Yeah. Well, we do a series called Stockyards Coffee Hour, and we have a speaker. So I'd like for you to come in and be one of my speakers.
Can I get a cappuccino?
Of course.
Okay.
and it's Zoom too, so you know a lot of people are trying to still be safe. But maybe in our conference room, eventually we'll start letting people
I spend
come
half
in.
my life on Zoom right now. I'm very good at it. I have a little background with our logo, and you know, you got to promote all the time.
Yeah, well, you see my logo, Cap Alpha Psi.
See the bottom of my coffee cup? You can't miss any opportunity.
Yeah, turn it that way. Yeah.
That way, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, our ad agency is brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, there's some more space. Let's brand it.
Yeah. No, I hadn't seen that before.
Yeah, if you when you get home tonight, I wrote something on the back of your hat too. Eat more salsa.
Okay. Well, Wrangler was our sponsor for our program, so you see what I'm doing. If you give me sauce and you give me money, I'll put your name on my fast.
The American way.
Yeah. So it's been great chopping it up with you, sir.
Thanks so much.
I look forward to seeing you around the trail and working with you, and we'll make sure that every time someone comes over here to the National Multicultural Western Heritage Museum, they get a bottle of Mrs. Renfro.
And I'm going to bring more people to the museum. I think people have no idea what you've got here.